Hi, I'm Julia.
I'm Rachael.
And I'm Kelly.
And this is What You Should Read,
the podcast where we should all over our books.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. So today we are going to be talking about our reality show style books that we love, and also maybe talking a little bit about the reality TV shows that we like to indulge in as well. But first, Kelly, what are you reading this week?
So I just finished a book this morning about the history of the Cecil Hotel. So that was a book that I read, but I'm about to start Outlawed by Anna North.
Yay.
Because I feel like, Rachael, you maybe kind of liked it a little bit. You didn't really say much.
I love that book so much. It's so good. Already, I think, going to be part of my top 10 for the year. I mean, it's early, so who knows? But
yeah,
I wrote it on my running list of favorites for so far that I'll have to choose from for my top 10 or top 5.
Yeah, that's a problem for later.
Yeah.
Rachael, what are you reading?
I'm in the middle of a few books right now. I am listening to Barack Obama's A Promised Land on audio right now and following along in the book a little bit, mostly for the pictures. But, it's really good on audio. So I'm listening to that. I am also reading Sex and Vanity by Kwan. So I'm enjoying it. It's really like fun and fluffy and, full of satire. I love it. A few peeks from, what's it called? Crazy Rich Asians.
Have you gotten to the Pride and Prejudice reference yet? My prediction is Kevin Kwan is writing a Pride and Prejudice spinoff, or a modernized Pride and Prejudice adaptation, because there's a part where they talk about the Darcys.
Oh, yes,
from Pemberley.
Yes. I did see that. Yes. I thought that was I forgot, but I did, because it was just a passing comment, but
right.
I hope he writes a book about them for sure.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so enjoyable. And then I'm also in the middle of an arc of A Vow So Bold and Deadly, which comes out in a couple weeks. So I'm really enjoying that.
Cool. Yes, I'm also in the middle of that, reading my e-arc of Brigid Kemmerer's third in her Cursebreakers trilogy, A Vow So Bold and Deadly. It's so good. Everyone pre-order that.
Yes.
ASAP. If you haven't read the series, order the series and then pre-order this one because it's so good. And then I just started The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr., which is my book of the month pick for January. And I was already crying, one chapter in. So but it's beautifully written. I love it. And I can't wait to, I am kind of bouncing back and forth between those two. I think I'm going to finish up Vow So Bold today and then really just sink my teeth into The Prophets, because it's just, I think this is going to be a book of the year for me. I can already tell. So
I also loved A Vow So Bold and Deadly. I read it at the end of last year when I wasn't really connecting with any books, and I've loved Brigid Kemmerer for years. Yeah. So I was like, I know I'm gonna love this.
Mm-hmm.
And so amazing. Just, yeah, definitely that's gonna be one of my favorites of this year too. Although I guess technically I don't know that I can count it because I read it last year, but whatever.
You read it when you get your
yeah. I mean, it's 2021, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think there are rules. But we do have some fun book news. First, tomorrow, Monday, we will be 8 months old.
Aww.
So that's fun. And I'm actually really, really excited about this book news. Usually, for people who would not know, we discuss book news and, we all know what it's going to be. I insisted today would be a surprise because I thought the reaction would be fantastic.
Oh, no.
So the New York Public Library has this new service. If you call them, the number is 917 ASKNYPL, so ask NYPL, and you press 6, there is a recording of a librarian reading you a story.
Aww.
Oh,
I know.
wow.
They do a new story every week, and you can choose to listen in English, Spanish, or Mandarin, which I think is just the best and most delightful idea.
That is so cool.
I know.
I'm gonna
How
try
long
that.
of a story?
I don't think it can be that long, really, because it's, I mean, I'm sure it's like a picture book. So maybe like, I haven't even read a picture book
Should
in
we
so
do
long.
it now?
We should do it now.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll put my phone on speaker. You guys tell me if you can hear it.
Okay. This is so exciting.
I know.
I wonder what they're gonna read us.
I don't know.
I'm predicting go the fuck to sleep.
Anti-racist baby, maybe?
Oh, that'd be good.
Aw.
There's a Kamala Harris
The New
picture
York
book.
Public Library offers grab and go service at select locations
I
as
pressed
part of our
6, right?
gradual reopening.
Yeah, 6.
Please note that all NYPL grab and go locations will be closed on Monday,
Good to know.
January 18th, in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yeah.
For more information, please visit nypl.org. Enter your selection from the menu followed by the pound key. Please press 1 for a list.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I did not understand your response. Please try again.
To hear this week's story in English, press 1.
Para escuchar el cuento de... Hello, and welcome to the New York Public Library Storyline. Are you ready for a story?
Yes.
Yes.
Me too. Let's listen. My name is Teresa, and I'm a librarian at the City Island branch. Today I will read New York Baby, illustrated by Ward Jenkins. The sun is up in NYC. Come and see the sights with me. How do you think Baby is feeling? First, let's have breakfast, please. I'd like a bagel with cream cheese. All filled up. Now where to start? How about the Met to see some art? Van Gogh, Degas, and Vermeer. You'll even find a mummy here. Now it's time to play and run. In Central Park, we'll have lots of fun. Then we'll take a bus downtown to see the shops and stroll around. What do you think will happen next? Time to feed that hungry belly. Let's go to my favorite deli. Turkey, please, on pumpernickel. On the side, we get a pickle. After lunch, we'll see Broadway and even catch a matinee. Next, we'll wander through Times Square, see the bright lights everywhere. Then we'll climb the Empire State. From the top, the view is great. Taxi, taxi, go, go, go. Time for dinner in Soho. For dessert, we'll have a treat, an ice cream cone on Bleecker Street. The day is done. We'll dream so deep, but New York City will never sleep. What would you do if you were in New York City?
Thank you for listening to Storyline.
Oh my God, that
Oh
was
my
so
God.
cute. I'm going to tell everyone I know with kids about this. That is such
Yeah.
a great idea.
Aww.
But
Wow.
as I was reading about it, I thought, you know who would be really good at reading stories? Becky. Because you know she would
Yes.
do like all the voices.
Yep,
She
for
would.
sure.
She should do a
Yeah.
YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
That was great, Kelly. What a nice surprise. Thank you.
I really thought we could use something nice.
Yeah. Okay, time for our next segment, recent acquisitions. So Kelly, why don't you start us off? What have you recently acquired?
Oh goodness. So I recently got Angel of Greenwood by Randi Pink, which is about the Tulsa race riot from the 20s, I think. And I'm really excited to read that because it's something I didn't really know about until I read Dreamland Burning a couple years ago. And this one sounds just really interesting because it's not back and forth in time like Dreamland Burning was. So I'm very excited to read this. And I got The Sword and the Shield by Peniel Joseph. That may not be how you say his first name. Which is about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. And I have definitely a better understanding of Martin Luther King than I do Malcolm X, but I know my understanding of him is not super great either, because, you know, public school, you get a decent chunk of the I have a dream speech and very little else. So
Right.
I'm definitely excited to learn more about those.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
Julia?
So I recently acquired Across the Green Grass Fields by Seanan McGuire, which is the, I think, 6th book in her Wayward Children series. And this one is about a girl named Reagan who goes to a horse world. So there are centaurs and unicorns and all kinds of magical hooved beings. And it's I think it's supposed to be a little bit more middle grade focused than the other ones, which will be, or maybe not middle grade, maybe more YA focus, even though they're all about teenagers. I wouldn't call this series YA, but the reviews so far indicate it might be suitable for even a younger audience. So that's, if you're, you know, looking for, you know, something for your teen, it might be a good option. So yeah, but I'm excited. I love this series. So
nice. All right, so my recent acquisitions. So I got my Book of the Month box in the mail, and I got The Dating Plan by Sara Desai. And it's about a fake engagement, so that's a fun romance. I got The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yay.
For sure. And then I got The Removed by Brandon Hobson, which I'm really intrigued to try. It's very short. A lot of the reviews so far have been mixed, but it sounds like it's just something, like it's like a unique style of writing you have to get used to. But once you get into it, sounds like the story is going to be incredible. So, and then I also got, for my pick from the top 5 books of the year from Book of the Month, I got The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abby Dare, which I think was one of the only of the 5 that I hadn't read other than the thriller, the Guest List. So I'm looking forward to that one. And then I was so excited for Kristin Cashore's new release in the Graceling Realm series. So I ordered all 3 of because I listened to them on audio back when I read them a few years ago. So I ordered them all in paperback from Barnes & Noble, but they didn't send me the one I ordered. They sent me, so this is Bitterblue, the 3rd one, and they sent me one with the old cover, not the new covers, which is what I wanted because the new release has a new style of cover and it's beautiful.
It's so pretty.
And I think I already lost my packing slip, so I don't know if I'll be able to return it, but it's okay. And the other ones are stuck in limbo because, you know, the postal service is broken. But, you know, I'm patiently waiting. I have plenty to read in the meantime, but I do want to reread that series in full. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'll stop there.
Okay, we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're talking books about reality TV shows or based on reality TV shows or set during reality TV. So we're probably going to get into our Bachelor binge watching habits and our Bachelor reading challenge that we have. So we've got a lot to talk about. So stick around and we'll be right back. Oh my gosh, Kelly. Have you heard about Book of the Month?
I'm reading one right now.
Book of the Month is a super popular and fast-growing online book service for readers. Their mission is to promote new and emerging authors and help readers discover books they love.
It's right here. A different one from Book of the Month that I have.
Well, how it works is their team vets hundreds of books each month and gives readers their choice from a curated selection of new and early release titles, so you can spend more time reading and less time researching.
I've got like 3 accounts, 3 of them.
And the good news is it's risk-free. So if you don't want any of the books that are a choice that month, you can skip any month, anytime, and you'll not be charged.
I have 3 accounts because I like all the books every month. I don't need this, you guys. I know.
Plus, Kelly, they have the best price for new hardcover releases for fiction. You can get your first book for just $9.99 when you use our promo code What You Should Read. That's all one word, What You Should Read.
I'll get a 4th account.
So that's bookofthemonth.com. Promo code when you check out is What You Should Read, all one word.
Check it out.
Okay, we are back, and today we are giving recommendations for books about reality television shows or based on either real TV reality shows or ones that are made up for the sake of the plot. So let's just start off with a general discussion about reality TV. I certainly love watching reality TV. It's definitely a guilty pleasure, but what reality TV shows do you like? Rachel, I'll start with you.
Well, in the last couple of years, because of you, Julia, I've gotten into the Bachelor Nation shows. So Bachelor, Bachelorette. I don't often watch more of the spinoffs, but I'm definitely hooked on those shows. Definitely a guilty pleasure. I love the formula. I love, just, every week who's going to be, chosen for the rose ceremony. In the past, I've not been like a constant reality TV watcher, but I definitely enjoyed some reality shows, especially like baking shows, like Cupcake Wars, that kind of thing. I love that kind of stuff. Any like contest with cooking.
Yes, for sure. Kelly, what about you?
I watched The Amazing Race on and off a few years ago, but I hadn't watched that in a while. And then when the pandemic hit and I basically stopped reading, I started watching probably not a ton of reality TV for most people, but a ton of reality TV for me. I watched Tiger King, like pretty much everybody. And I watched Love is Blind. And I watched that Netflix one about people on the spectrum who were trying to date, which isn't really a dating show per se, more like adult people living their lives who are also kind of dating every so often.
Yeah.
I have started watching I watched the most recent Bachelorette, and I have started watching the recent Bachelor with Matt James.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm so glad
it's been very fun.
Yeah, it's been fun being able to have us all talk about it on our text thread. And I am glad you brought up Love on the Spectrum, though, the Netflix series, because I thought that was so well done. And it is in the style of a reality show, but it's not what you typically think of a reality show, which I feel in the past has been very exploitative of people and still to this day can be very exploitative. But what I like about reality TV is when I feel like we really get to know, just regular people living their lives and you can relate to them and it doesn't feel, I'm sure some of it is manufactured, but it just feels more authentic and the good and the bad, and I thought that was a really well done show. I too love The Bachelor, obviously. I started watching reality TV at a pretty young age with The Real World when that was popular, when that was first starting. And it used to be an amazing show, I think. Just, throwing strangers in a house and filming their day-to-day lives. It was an experiment. It had never really been done like that before. And especially the first 3 seasons of The Real World are really, really interesting. And they dealt with a lot of heavy topics like racial tensions in the house between the contestants. There was a contestant who was HIV positive, Pedro. And the president of the United States, Bill Clinton talked about Pedro after Pedro died and made like a speech about him. It was really just like everyone was talking about it. So that kind of stuff really got me hooked on it. And then as I got older, there were just more shows coming out. So Project Runway is a show that I've always loved.
Yeah.
And that's another show that used to be very like nasty. You know, people would get really nasty about, you know, there would always be the villain on the season. And I got, you know, you'd get into it, you'd be like, oh, that person's terrible. But now when I watch it, I definitely feel a shift of the contestants being a lot more supportive of one another. And even if someone's annoying, it's not dealt with in the same way. It's not, you know, making them out to be the world's most evil villain. You know, it's just they're a person with flaws. So I'm enjoying that shift, I think, a lot more. And because then you can just focus on the creative fashions and the fun, and that's nice. So yeah, definitely more into reality TV in a lot of ways than I am into scripted television. So
I used to binge watch a lot of America's Next Top Model. That was
yes.
definitely a carnival of a reality show. I mean, it was bananas. They definitely played into all the tropes, which can be enjoyable.
Sure.
But it's kind of, you know, you hate to see it now, all the old contestants on YouTube and TikTok talking about how horrible a time they had on the show, and you kind of feel bad.
Yeah, actually, Kelly Clarkson recently said, because she has a talk show now, and she was the first winner of American Idol. And I remember watching that first season. It was super exciting. And she was the clear winner. She was so good. But she was interviewing Jennifer Love Hewitt on her talk show. And she was saying, you know, you, Jennifer Love Hewitt, were one of the only celebrities that was nice to us when because they all got invited to a red carpet event, like an award show. And all the celebrities were just super rude to them. And she said it was a horrible experience. And Jennifer Love Hewitt like ran up to them and was like, I love you guys. You know, it was just really sweet and gave them good advice. And she said, I want to thank you for that, because you were basically the only celebrity there who treated us like human beings and, you know, weren't looking down upon us. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. Now I think reality TV is so ubiquitous. It's like everyone's doing it. And now I don't think it's as I don't know. People aren't as snobby about it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they are.
Right. Did anyone watch Selling Sunset?
No.
I really enjoyed that one too. It was definitely, I think, a good mix of like real stuff and like ridiculous stuff. Because I mean, these people are selling multi-million-dollar homes, but it was a fun show.
Nice. Well, bringing it back to books a little bit. So I feel like The Bachelor is a good show to point to if we're looking for book crossover stuff, because a lot of contestants have written their own books about their experiences on The Bachelor. I have read a couple. I'm not going to say they're great. I'm not going to say they're bad. I'm just going to say they exist. So like they've written their tell-alls, you know, so great, good for them. And then also Ashley Spivey, who was a contestant on Brad Womack's second season. She has a hashtag called Spivey's Book Club. So she likes to she talks about a lot of important stuff on her platform. She uses her platform to promote social justice, and does a really great job with that. But she also has this book club online, which is super fun. So I like that she gets books going in the conversation in Bachelor Nation. And then last year, a book came out that was not even loosely based on The Bachelorette. I would say pretty much the show was definitely the inspiration for it. And that was One to Watch by Kate Stayman London. Yeah, there it is. Rachel has it there. So we all read this book.
Yes. Loved it.
Yeah. So the premise of this book is the main character, her name is B, right?
Yeah.
So B is plus size. She's a blogger, and she writes a blog about The Bachelorette and how the show is very it's not at all size inclusive, right? Everyone on the show is size 0 to 4 basically, and just her post goes viral, and she ends up being asked to be the lead in the next season of this bachelorette style show. And then from there, it's all about the men she meets on the show and her journey to find love. And, you know, she deals with a lot of fat phobic instances. And what did you two think of this book?
I loved this book. I thought it was very well done. I thought the background of the main character B was so like real and relatable. And I enjoyed, you know, the parody of the show. I did think it was very well done. I thought it was pretty realistic to how the show tends to go. You know, she changed up some things, of course. But yeah, I definitely was like there with B, like feeling her feelings and really like empathizing with her on that journey.
I also enjoyed it, and as I mentioned, I have seen one complete season of The Bachelorette, and like 2 episodes have aired of The Bachelor, so this was all new to me, and so I feel like people who are familiar with that show probably would have been better able to call every single thing that happened in One to Watch. So it was all new to me because I don't really know those tropes. I'm a person who lives in the world, so I know that every season has like a villain, or sometimes I bet more than one. But you know, like beyond that, I didn't really know. So if you watch these shows and you would like to enjoy the discussions of a first-time watcher who is outraged by everything, and you know my phone number, please text me about it, because I do have fun talking about, you know, these shows. But yeah, I thought it was just fantastic. I loved B. I loved everything about B. I really hope that somehow she pops up in another book, because I don't know that she necessarily needs a sequel, but I would like one. So if we could just a little more time with her, that would be great for me.
She could do a companion novel going back to the show, and you know.
Yeah, Sam's season, maybe.
Oh yeah, Sam's season would be fun. And go ahead.
Nothing.
I also liked that she included a lot of representation of different identities in the book. There, you know, the show is criticized a lot for not representing diverse contestants very well, and there's a campaign to get them to do better called the Batch Diversity Campaign, I think it's called. And obviously, well, Two Black Girls, One Rose is a podcast I will shout out. Natasha and Justine have been doing the work for years to talk about this show and how it is the whitest show on earth, as they say, and they call out all of the racism and the, you know, just the kind of ridiculousness. But I subscribe to their Patreon, and they're just, I love getting their perspective every week on the show. And so hopefully things are getting better. And this season especially seems to be a lot more diverse. But in the book, One to Watch, I felt like she did a good job of representing different identities, not just race and body size, but also sexual orientations. And I won't spoil anything. But yeah, so that was cool. I also love that in the book there's like podcast transcripts, because I love listening to podcasts about the show, and that was fun to have incorporated.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so other than One to Watch, what are some of our favorite books out there that are about reality shows? And they don't have to be about bachelor or dating reality shows, but any kind of, you know, reality TV element to it. So Rachael, I'll start with you. What's your first recommendation?
So this one is a sort of a crossover inspiration of The Amazing Race and any reality dating show. It's called For Real by Allison Cherry. And it's about two sisters who, one of them just caught her boyfriend cheating on her. So she breaks up with him, and, she just graduated from college, and her younger sister is in high school. She's 18. She's going into her senior year, and they're trying to think of ways to get back at him. And then they remember, oh, he's going to be on this new reality show that's sort of based on The Amazing Race. And then they find out that they're holding like last minute auditions because some people dropped out. So they audition for the show to get on it so that they can beat him and make sure he doesn't win. And it is so, oh my gosh, the whole thing. First of all, I loved it because the sisters are really funny together, and the main character is the younger sister. Like, it's all from her perspective, and she's great. She loves reality television. She wants to like be a producer on reality TV. That's like her career goal. And she's very shy, very introverted. So this is a really big like step for her to be on a show like this. And secondly, all the travel is so much fun, like, because they're going all over the world, and you love to see it. So it's definitely a cute, fun. I gave it 5 stars. It just was enjoyable from start to finish. I didn't want to put it down.
Oh, awesome. That does sound really fun. I love the idea of going on a reality show to prevent your ex from winning.
Revenge.
Kelly, what is your first recommendation?
First, though, I want to say I feel like that's a much easier goal to attain than I want to go on a reality show and win. I feel like it would be so much easier to just sabotage someone else.
Yeah.
I could do that, I think. But mine is The Chicken Sisters by KJ Del Antonina. Antonia. Oh God, I am not good with the names. And it is a reality show where if there are like 2 competing restaurants, they go head to head. And like both restaurants are followed, and then celebrity judges come and taste the food and pick a winner, and that person gets $10,000 for their business. Sorry, but in this one, okay, so generations ago, there are 2 sisters. They moved to a small town and set up competing chicken shacks, and one mostly catered to like railway workers and the other mostly catered to mine workers. So again, like a long time ago. And now the railway is not so much a factor, and the mine is certainly not a factor. But the 2 restaurants, it is very contested, and like if you are related to one person, you cannot be in the other restaurant. Like, you cannot go. It's a thing.
Whoa.
And the great granddaughter or something of one of the original founders of one ends up marrying the great grandson, whatever, of the other one.
Ooh.
And her mom interprets that as, well, you're in their family now, so you're not coming in my restaurant.
Oh my
You
God.
know, like, I'm not disinheriting you. We'll still see each other, but like, this is not your restaurant. That's your restaurant.
Oh, that's
And
so Romeo and Juliet. Like, no, a house divided.
And it's so interesting and fun. And to like double the reality show stuff, the girl's woman's sister, like it's an adult book. The woman's sister is kind of a Marie Kondo type person who is very like, organize your life, clutter bad. And it was so fun and so interesting, and I loved it. I thought it was just fantastic. You will want fried chicken though, because it is the most like pervasive element of the book. Like,
Nice.
So much fried chicken.
I have that on hold at the library, so hopefully it'll come in soon because I do want to read it.
It's very, very fun.
Nice.
Oh, and I guess a potential trigger warning. If you have a thing with clutter, the mom is a hoarder.
Ooh.
And
Okay. Good to know.
it's a bad, like one of the real like hoarding type shows bad.
Hoarders. That's another one of my favorite reality TV shows. It always inspires me to clean my house.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
Oh gosh, that guy who wrote Ragtime EL Doctor wrote a book about the two brothers who lived together in their adult life, and one or both of them was a hoarder. Did you hear about this?
I don't know.
It's a true story, and he wrote a
were they
novel
the ones
about
that
it.
got trapped in their house and there was either a fire or something?
And one of them was dead already. It's I haven't read it, but I do have it. It sounds really good. So
okay. Well, my first pick is Recipe for Persuasion by Sonali Dev, and she writes these Jane Austen retellings. And you might recall that this is the book that we conjured when we on our second podcast ever, when we talked about Pride and Prejudice retellings. We said, wouldn't it be great if someone would write a persuasion retelling? And then literally the next day, this book came out. And obviously we hadn't been paying close enough attention. And now I am a huge Sonali Dev fan, and I've read Pride, Prejudice, and Other Flavors, and I loved that. And these are companion novels. They're all based on the same family, the Rajes. And they're great. So definitely check them out. You don't have to have read Pride, Prejudice, and Other Flavors before you read Recipe for Persuasion. So they work independently, but they do involve some of the same characters. But basically, in this book, Ashna Rajay is a chef. She runs her father's curry restaurant. He died, and now she runs the restaurant, and she the business is not going well, and in order to save it, she decides against her better judgment to go on this cooking show called Cooking with the Stars. So it's basically Top Chef combined with Dancing with the Stars. And so that was super fun, and she gets paired with this celebrity soccer player who's an old flame of hers, but no one knows that they dated because she had to date him in secret because her family's very conservative and they wouldn't have liked it. And so, and they had not a good breakup. They did not part amicably. And all of a sudden they get paired together in this show. So that was like a fun premise, but the book is a romance novel, but it is also so much about her relationship with her mother, and I talked a little bit about this when I talked about the book Patsy. And one of the reasons I loved that book so much is that it looks at motherhood from a nuanced angle, and that not everyone is the same kind of mother. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person if you are less than perfect as a mom, or not effectual if you're ineffectual, basically not mothering the way society thinks you should. And Ashna's mom is like that too, but it really does affect her daughter and her, I think. So they really just go deep into that, and it was very powerful story. I wasn't expecting that, so I loved it so much. So I highly recommend that, and that's Recipe for Persuasion by Sonali Dev.
That's great. I have read the Pride, Prejudice, and Other Flavors, and I have Recipe for Persuasion, but haven't read it yet. But I should pick it up soon because that does sound really fun.
Yeah, you'll like it. It was a good summer read, but In Sense and Sensibility comes out this summer, her third book. So yeah, I can't wait.
Can't wait.
Okay, Rachel, do you have another pick?
Yes. So this one is an oldie but a goodie. It is Eligible, a modern retelling of Pride and Prejudice by Curtis Sittenfeld.
I have it.
Yay!
You gave this to me, actually.
I did, yes.
Yeah.
So Curtis Sittenfeld has written a lot of books that I love, but this one is definitely a little different, and it is a Pride and Prejudice retelling, of course, but it's also based on a reality show that's like The Bachelor called Eligible. So it's funny because the Bingley character was on that show that is based on The Bachelor. He was, The Bachelor, and he ended up like not choosing anyone, I think. So he got kind of a lot of flack for that. And now he's sort of trying to lay low, and that's where he meets the Jane Bennett character. And, you know, they go through this whole thing. And the Lizzie Bennett character is, you know, a struggling writer living in New York, and she has to go back home to kind of help out with things. And it's such a great Pride and Prejudice retelling, first of all. And it is really funny kind of how they integrate the show and the aftermath of the show into the story. So I enjoyed it. It's a fun read. It's a quick read because you just can't put it down.
Yeah.
And the Lydia character, oh my God, so funny. Always.
Kelly, what about you?
So my next one is The Book of Essie by Megan McLean Ware. And it is basically a Duggar style reality show about a very religious conservative family. Essie, her first name's Esther, but like Essie is a nickname. She's the youngest of 6, and she ends up pregnant. And so it's a whole thing, like what is going to happen, because obviously when you are on a reality show like that, you know, it's not even just a personal choice. It's, you know, you really could be tarnishing the brand here.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. It's also not unlike another new reality show I have been watching, Welcome to Plathville. And I don't know if you guys have watched that show, but it's a family with their, I want to say like 7 or 8 kids. I'm not 100% sure, just because we don't see much of the really little kids, which I think is good. They mostly focus on the older ones. The oldest daughter is married and not really on the show because she works with a symphony. So like she and her husband travel all the time. The oldest son is married to a woman that the family just, like, the parents hate her so much. And it's very funny to me because she's also religious, but she does stuff like eat food that has sugar in it and drink caffeine. And she does drink alcohol, but she doesn't drink alcohol. She just, you know, has a glass of wine with dinner. Yeah. But it's been a really interesting thing because the siblings are all so close, and the fact that they don't like Ethan is his name. They don't like Ethan's wife, Olivia. So it really kind of fractures the family, and like he doesn't have much of a relationship with his siblings except for the other older 2 who have also moved out. And so he gets to see them a little bit, but it's so interesting and it's so sad. And what I like is that it doesn't really show them to be weird or freakish, except for the dad, because he gets way too excited that his kids have never had a Coke. Like, it really just makes his entire life that they don't drink caffeine. And I'm like, this is a weird thing to be proud of.
Yeah, like, get over it.
Yeah.
Like,
you okay? You okay, bro?
Yeah, like, I mean, you know, yeah, like, if you want to be proud of something weird, that's fine, but that's a strange thing to choose. It would be like, I'm really proud that, you know, my kids don't wear things they got in a store. Like, we make all our clothes.
Well,
I mean,
what he's proud of and what people like that take pride in is their ability to control their family. And that's what they are really proud of. It's not the actual thing. It's like, look, I made them adhere to this weird, stupid rule that really doesn't matter just because I'm the head of the family.
Yeah, that's, yeah. It is a very interesting show. I don't know that I'm proud that I've watched it, but I enjoyed watching it. And if there's a 3rd season, I will definitely watch more of it.
So what's the name of the book again?
The Book of Essie.
The Book of Essie. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll have to check it out.
It is an older Book of the Month Club pick that I read last year.
Okay. Maybe I'll get it in a box.
Oh yeah, I wonder if they still have it.
I also have a physical copy, so you can borrow it.
Okay.
Ooh, and super fast, if you have not read The Running Man, it's one of Stephen King's books. He wrote it under the pseudonym Richard Bachman. It's one of the Bachman books. And it's very fun. It's sort of almost like Survivor, only one person is trying to survive, like a criminal of some sort, and they're being chased by bounty hunters.
Oh.
And if they get away, they get their freedom. If they get caught, they get dead.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Is that a novella or a short story?
It is a full novel, but I don't think it's very long. It's still only about like 200 and some pages. It was also made into a very, very fun and campy movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right. I remember that now.
The host was that guy from Family Feud, Richard Dawson, who kissed everybody all the time. Very fun. I recommend that too.
Very Hunger Games, which is another reality TV show, technically.
Yeah.
Yes. Luckily not based on a real reality show.
I mean, not yet.
Not yet. Oh my God. We're getting there. Well, that brings me to another question. Are there any reality shows that we would like to see inspire a book?
I would like a tell-all from one or all of the Welcome to Plathville children.
Maybe we'll get
read
that.
the crap out of that.
Yeah.
I would definitely, I'd read a tell-all from a show like that, or, Duggars or something. I would also read a book that's based on one of the fashion shows like Project Runway or America's Next Top Model or something like that, just because of all the fashion and stuff. So fiction or nonfiction, I would read it.
Yeah. I think a show that would be interesting if there was a novel that it was loosely based on would be the show Sister Wives on TLC, which was a guilty pleasure of mine for a long time. I haven't really kept up with it. I think it's still going, which like, wow. But I think it's the only way they can make money at this point because they're so exposed. And the dad is he's just like failed business idea after failed business idea and keeps buying houses for his growing family. It's kind of wacky, but I enjoy that show. It's just like a glimpse into this lifestyle. And the daughter of one of the wives, the daughter of the first wife, I believe, came out as gay. And so it was interesting to watch the family and how they reacted to it. And I actually thought they reacted wonderfully. Like they really stood, and I think they actually feel sort of kinship with the LGBTQ community who, for so long were not allowed to get married to the person that they wanted to marry. And so they've talked about that on the show before, like that they don't think that's fair. They don't think it's fair that they're not legally allowed to get married, which, is a whole other conversation. I don't think it's quite the same, but at all. But they definitely, have supported people being free to love and be with who they want. So that was nice to see. So anyway, something like that in a book, I think would be interesting to read about.
I would say you might also want to watch the show Big Love, which was on HBO.
I did. Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know what I think about all of it, but I think it is important to note that there is a difference between adults who are married to multiple other adults and forming a family where everyone is happy to be there and wanting to be there, as opposed to something on the compound where like old men have little child wives.
Absolutely. There's a huge difference. And that's something I think the Sister Wives show shows pretty clearly too. Like these are all consenting adults who are there because they want to be there.
Right. They've been brainwashed as children and groomed into it.
Right. And in fact, one of the wives, like, did not grow up in polygamy at all. And her family was just like, what are you doing? And I think actually more than one. So yeah, I think I don't know. It's got its, other like issues, I think, as a show, but that would be an interesting show to see a book about.
Yeah.
If you could be a contestant on any reality show, which show would you want to be on?
Oh my gosh. Well, I would want someone to come to my house and do a free home makeover, but otherwise I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, that's a good choice actually. Because then you really get something out of it.
Yeah.
I did audition for a reality show once.
You did?
Yeah, I auditioned for The Biggest Loser.
Oh, I didn't know you did that.
I think Cassie and I went to, my friend Cassie came with me and we went to New York. We were in New York and I stood in line and then I met with a producer and then they never called me. So that was years ago. I had like a lot of weight I thought I needed to lose. So, but yeah, I would definitely not do that now. I think that show has been proven to be very harmful. Like now that they've done studies of the contestants long term. But yeah, it was wild. There were so many people there. But I think now I'd rather be on a show like The Great British Bake Off. Like it's okay to eat cake.
Yeah.
Kelly, if you could be on
I don't think I could. I mean, there's nothing that I would really want to be part of. I mean, The Amazing Race, probably the closest, but I don't do well when I'm tired or hungry. And that's an entire month or so where you're nothing but tired and hungry. So, like, all of America would be like, she is the fucking worst. We need her to lose, like, right now. Because it would just be me being awful all the time because I just need a nap and a snack.
Yeah.
I think I might be better suited for game shows.
Ooh, yes, you would. You need to be on Jeopardy or some sort of trivia show, like ASAP. Millionaire.
Millionaire had a movie week, but they've stopped doing that, and I would have done so well on movie week. So.
Yeah.
And Chris Harrison used to host. He was the host when Jen was on My Best Friend.
Aww.
So yeah.
Bachelor connection. I wish there was a reality show that was like, how many books can you read?
Oh my God, yes.
Or like, I don't know, based in a bookstore. That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
I don't know what it would be. We'll have to brainstorm our new reality show set in a bookstore. But also super quick, don't forget, listeners, that we started a bachelor/bachelorette reading challenge. So you can go to our Instagram and I'll put a link in the show notes as well to all the prompts. But there are 13 prompts of different books to read that loosely tied to The Bachelor. It's just a fun, reading challenge. So read along if you want to and let us know what you're reading. And yeah, there's no time limit on it. I think, you could take all year if you want to, because there's Bachelor Nation related shows all year. So have at it.
Okay, so that's our show. Remember, you can get your first book of the month box for $9.99 if you don't already have a subscription, or if, like me, you need more than one. Just use our promo code, What You Should Read, all one word. We are happy to help you pick which books you need any given month. Just let us know.
And follow us on social media. We are at WYSR_podcast on Instagram and on Twitter. You can email us at whatyoushouldreadpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Goodreads at What You Should Read Podcast. And please give us a review, a rating on whatever you're listening to our podcast on. We would really appreciate it.
And now you know what you should read.
You're welcome.